dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum, ta-diddle-da-da-sa-diddle-dum, 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 oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, 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 tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, 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 oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum.
As I remember, Adam, it was upon this fashion, bequeathed me by will but for 8,000 crowns, and, as thou sayest, charged my brother on his blessing to treat me well. And there begins my sadness. He keeps me rustically at home, or to speak more properly, stays me here at home unkept. For call ye that keeping for a gentleman of my birth that differs not from the stalling of an ox? His horses are bred better, for besides that they are fair with their feeding, they are taught their manage, and to that end riders dearly hired. But I, his brother, gain nothing under him but growth, for which his animals on his dunghill are as much bound to him as I. Besides this nothing that he so plentifully gives me, there's something that nature gave me, his countenance seems to take from me. Lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother, and as much as in him lies, minds my gentility with my education. This is it, Adam, that grieves me. And the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it! Though yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother!
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt hear how you will shake me up.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
What more you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I'm helping you to mar that which God made. A poor, unworthy brother of yours with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed, and be not a while.
Shall I keep your hods and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent that I should come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
I, better than him I am before knows me. I know you are my elder brother, and in the gentle condition of blood you should so know me. The courtesy of nation allows you my better, in that you are the firstborn. But the same tradition takes not away my blood, were there 20 brothers betwixt us. I have as much of my father in me as you. Albeit I confess your coming before me is near to his reverence.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Roland of Boys. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wilt thou not my brother? I will not keep his hand from thy throat, till this other pull out my tongue for saying so. Thou hast willed on thyself.
Sweet masters, be patient, for thy father's remembrance be in accord.
Let me go, I say!
I will not, till I please. You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor lodger my father left me by testament. With that I'll go and find my fortunes.
What wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in, you shall have some part of your portion. I pray you leave me.
I will no further offend you than becomes me for my good.
get you in, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true, I have lost my teeth in your service. If God be with my old master, he would not have spoke such a word.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me, while I will physic your rankest, and yet give no 1,000 crowns neither. Hold Dennis!
Call, your worship.
Is not Charles, the Duke's wrestler, here to speak with me?
So please you, he is here at the door and importunes access to you.
Send him in. It will be a good way, and tomorrow the wrestling is.
Good morrow to your worship.
Good Monsieur Charles, what's the new news at the new court?
There's no news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old Duke is banished by his younger brother, the new Duke, and 3 or 4 loving lords have followed him into voluntary exile, whose lands and revenues enrich the new Duke. Therefore, he gives them good leave to wander.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the Duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh, no, for the Duke's daughter, her cousin, so loves her, being ever from their cradles bred together, that she would have followed her exile, or have died to stay behind her. She is at the court, and no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter.
Where will the old Duke live?
They say he is already in the forest of Arden, and a many merry men with him. And there they live like the old Robin Hood of England. They say many young gentlemen flock to him every day, and fleet the time carelessly as they did in the golden world.
What, you wrestle tomorrow before the new Duke?
Marry I do, sir, and I came to acquaint you with the matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition to come in disguised against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit him well. Your brother is but young and tender, and for your love I would be loath to foil him, as I must for my own honor if he come in. Therefore, out of my love for you, I came hither to acquaint you with all, that either you might stay him from his intendment, or brook such disgrace well as he shall run into, in that it is a thing of his own search, and altogether against my will.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love for me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I have myself notice of my brother's purpose herein, and have by underhand means labored to dissuade him from it. But he is resolute. I'll tell thee, Charles, he is the stubbornest young fellow of France, full of ambition, an envious emulator of every man's good parts, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore use thy discretion. I'd as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger. And thou wert best look to it, for if thou dost him any slight disgrace, for if he do not mightily grace himself upon thee, he will practice against thee by poison, entrap thee by some treacherous device, and never leave thee till they take the life by some indirect means or other. For I assure thee, and almost with tears I speak it, there is not one so young and so villainous this day living. I speak but brotherly of him. But should I anatomize him to you as he is, I must blush and weep, and thou look pale in wonder.
I am heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment. If ever he go alone again, I'll never wrestle for prize more. And so, God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. I hope I shall see an end of him. For my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than him. Yet he's gentle, never schooled, yet learned, full of noble device of all sorts, enchantingly beloved, and indeed so much in the hearts of the world, especially of my own people who know him best, that I am altogether misprized. But this shall not be so long. This wrestler shall clear all that remains, that I kindle the boy thither, which now I'll go about.
Righty, Rosamond. Sweet my cuss. Be merry.
Oh, dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were merrier? Unless you can teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke my father, so thou hast been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me was righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have. And truly when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honour I will. And when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will, coz, and devise sports. Let me see, what think you of falling in love?
Marry, I prithee do, to make sport withal. But love no man in good earnest, nor no further in sport neither, than without the safety of a pure blush thou mayest in honour come off again.
Well, what shall be our sport then?
How now, wit, whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Will you make the messenger?
No, by mine honor. But I was but a comfort
Where learned you that oath, fool?
of a certain knight who swore by his honor that the pancakes were good and swore by his honor that the mustard was not. Now I'll stand to it. The mustard was good, but the pancakes were not. Yet was not the knight forsworn.
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Ay, marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now. Swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But since you cannot swear by that that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any. And if he had, he'd sworn it away long before he'd ever seen those pancakes or that mustard.
Who is it thou speaks of?
One that old Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honour him. Enough, speak no more, or you'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, what thou sayest is true. For since the little wit that fools have was silenced, the little foolery that wise men have makes a great show. Oh, here comes Monsieur Le Beau.
With his mouth full of news.
Bonjour, Monsieur Le Beau. What's the news?
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport of what colour?
Good wrestling.
Tell us the manner of the wrestling.
I will tell you the beginning, and if it please your ladyships, you may see the end, for the best is yet to do, and here where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning. That's already dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale.
3 proper young men of excellent growth and presence.
With bills on their necks. Be it known unto all men by these presents.
The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs, that there is little hope of life in him. So he said the 2nd, so the 3rd. Yonder they lie, the poor old man their father making such pitiful dole over them, that all the beholders take his part with weeping.
Alas!
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Thus men may grow wiser every day. This is the first that I ever heard that the breaking of ribs was sport for ladies.
Or I promise you.
But is there any else longs to see this broken music in his sides? Is there yet another dotes upon rib breaking? Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here is the place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform it.
Yonder, sure they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
Come on! The youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madam.
He's so young, but he looks successful.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
You will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There is such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak with him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Lebeau.
Do so. I'll not be by.
Monsieur the Challenger, the lady calls for me.
I attend him with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess. He is the general challenger. I come but in as others do, to try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentleman, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. If you saw yourself with your eyes, or knew yourself with your judgment, the fear of your adventure would cancel you to a more equal enterprise. We pray you to embrace your safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir, your reputation shall not therefore be misprized. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
I beseech you, punish me not with your hard thoughts, when I confess me much guilty to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there's but one shame that was never gracious, if killed, but one death that is willing to be so. I will do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. The world, no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world do I fill up a place which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And might we had hers.
Fare you well. Pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Come! Where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with his Mother Earth?
Ready, sir. His will hath in it a more modest working.
You shall try but one fall.
Nay, I warrant your grace, you shall not entreat him to a second that have so mightily persuaded him from a first.
You mean to mock me after? You should have not mocked me before, but come thy ways.
Yes!
How Hercules should I speed, young man?
If I had a thunderbolt in my eye, I can tell who should down.
Oh, excellent young man!
I would I were invisible to catch the strong fellow by the leg.
No more! No more!
Yes, I beseech your grace. I am not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honourable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed, hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well, thou art a gallant youth. I would thou had told me of another father.
Were I my father, cuss, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul, and all the world was of my father's mind. Had I before known this young man his son, I should have given him tears and to entreaties, ere he should thus have ventured.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love, but justly as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye. Very well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say, I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down, and that which here stands up is but a Quentin, a mere lifeless block.
He calls us back. I cry my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you dare cuss?
Have with you. There you go.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown. Or Charles, or something weaker masters thee.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place. Albeit you have preserved high commendation, true applause, and love, yet such is the Duke's condition now that he misconstrues all that you have done. The Duke is humorous. What he is, indeed, more suits you to conceive than I to speak of.
I thank you. And pray you, tell me this. Which of the two was daughter to the Duke that here was at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners, but yes, indeed, the taller is his daughter. The other is daughter to the banished Duke, and here detained by her usurping uncle to keep his daughter company, whose loves are dearer than the natural bonds of sisters. But I can tell you that of late this Duke hath paid displeasure against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake. And on my life his malice against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well. Hereafter, in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bounded to you. Fare you well. Thus must I from smoke into the smother, from tyrant Duke onto a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind,
Why, cousin, why Rosalind? Is this all for your father?
No, some of it is for my child's father. Oh, how full of briars is this working day world!
They are but bears, cuz, thrown upon me in holiday foolery.
I could shake them off my coat, these burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
I would try if I could cry hem and have him.
Come, wrestle with thy affection.
Oh, they take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Oh, a good wish upon you. But, turning these jests out of service, let us talk in good earnest. Is it possible, on such a sudden, you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roman's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Does it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly. Yes, I hate not Orlando.
No, they hate him not for my sake.
Why should they not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and do you love him because I do? Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste, and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if that thou best found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence or have acquaintance with mine own desires, if that I do not dream or be not frantic as I do trust I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thus do all traitors. If their purgation did consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. There's enough.
So was I, when your highness took his dukedom. So was I, when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord, or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then good, my liege, mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
I, Celia, we stayed there for your sake, else had she with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young at that time to value her, but I know her now, and if she be a traitor, why, so am I.
She is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence and her patience speak to the people and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wouldst show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. And open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of
You're a fool, you! Niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon mine honour and in the greatness of my word, you die.
My poor Rosamond. Whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? Thou can have mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not cause. Knowest thou not the Duke has banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
Hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love which teaches thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No. Let my father seek another heir. Therefore, devise with me how we may fly, whither to go and what to bear with us. And do not seek to take your change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. Say what thou canst. I'll go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will that be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoking thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, and with a kind of umber smirch my face. The likes do you, so shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better that I did suit me all points like a man? We'll have a slashing and a marshal outside, as many other mannish cowards have, that do not face it with their semblances.
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page. And therefore, look you, call me Ganymede. And what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
But cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
He'll go along over the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away and get our jewels and our wealth together. Devise the fittest time and safest way that will hide us from pursuit to be made after my flight. Now, go we in content to liberty and not to banishment.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? And not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? The season's difference as the icy fang, and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say this is no flattery. These are counsellors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the use of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life, exempt from public court, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything.
I would not change it. Happy is that grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune to so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet, it irks me that poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines with forked heads have their round paunches bored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy Jacques grieves at that.
And in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you.
Today, my lord Amiens and myself did steal behind him as he lay along, under an oak whose ancient root peeps out upon the brook that brawls this wood, to the which place a poor sequestered stag from hunter's aim had ta'en did come to languish.
But what said Jacques? Did he not moralize this spectacle?
He did, into 1,000 similes.
And did you leave him in this contemplation?
We did, my lord, weeping and commenting on the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, but then he's full of matter.
I'll take you to him straight.
Can it be possible that no man saw them? It cannot be. Some villains of my court will consent and sufferance in this.
I cannot hear of any that deceive. The ladies, her attendants of her chamber, saw her abed, and in the morning early found the bed untreasured of their mistress.
My lord, that roynish clown at whom so oft your worship was wont to laugh has also gone missing. Hesperia, the princess's gentlewoman, confesses she overheard both your daughter and her cousin much commend the parts and graces of that young wrestler that did but lately foil the sinewy Charles. She believes that wherever they are gone, that youth is surely in their company.
Send to his brother. Fetch that gallant hither. I'll make him find him. Do this suddenly, and let not quest nor inquisition quail to bring again these foolish runaways.
Oh, my sweet master. Oh, my gentle master. Oh, my young master. Oh, you memory of old Sir Roland.
Who's there?
Why, what make you here? Why are you virtuous? Why do people love you? And wherefore are you gentle, strong, and valiant? Why would you be so fond to overcome the bonny prizer of the humorous Duke? Your praises come too swiftly home before you. Know you not, master, that to some kind of men their graces serve them but as enemies? No more do yours. Your virtues, gentle master, are sanctified and holy traitors to you. What a world is this when what is comely and venoms him that bears it?
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, come not within these doors. Within this roof the enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother, no brother, yet the son, yet not the son. I will not call him son of him I was about to call his father. Hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. If he fail of that, he will have other means to cut you off. I overheard him and his practices. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it. Fear it. Do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wilt thou have me go?
No matter whither, so thou come not here.
What? Wilt thou have me go and beg my food? or with a base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road? This I must do, or know not what to do. Yet this I will not do what I can. I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire I saved under your father, which I did store to be my foster nurse, when service should in my old limbs lie lame. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. My age is as the lusty winter, frosty but kindly. Let me come with you. I'll do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man! How well in thee appears the constant service of the antique world, where service sweat for duty, not for meed. But, poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree that cannot so much as a blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But come, Henry, we'll go along together, and ere we have the youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled, low content.
Oh, Jupiter! How weary are my spirits!
I care not for my spirits. If my legs are not weary.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now I'm in Arden. More fool I. I was at home, I was in a better place. But travelers must be content.
I be so good, Touchstone. Look you, who comes here? A young man with an old and sullen talk.
That is the way to make us scorn you still. Oh, Corin, thou knowest how I do love her. I partly guess, for I have loved her now.
No, Corin. Being old, thou canst not guess. Oh, in thy youth thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love was ever like to mine, as sure I think did never man love so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didst then never love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee fall into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearing thy ear and thy mistress' praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe! Phoebe! Phoebe!
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found my own.
And I mine. I remember when I was in love. I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him, "Take that!" the coming evening to Jane's smile. And I remember the kissing of her battler. I remember the cow's nugs that her pretty chapped hands had milked. issuing a peace guide instead of her. From the moment of 2 cards. And giving her then sent with weeping tears, "Well, this for my sake." We that are true lovers run into strange capers. But as all is mortal in nature, so is all nature in love, mortal in folly.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art ware of.
Nay, it should never be word of mine own wits that I should break my shins against them.
Ah, Jove, the shepherd's passion is much a part of my fashion.
And I mind, but it grows something stale with me.
I pray you, one of you, question young man, if you for gold will give us any food. I faint or make to death.
Holla, you clown!
Peaceful, he's not thy kinsman.
Who calls? Your betters, sir!
Else are they very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good even to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir. And to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place by entertainment, bring us to where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here is a young maiden with travel much oppressed and faint for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish for her sake more than for mine own. My fortunes were more able to relieve her, but I am a shepherd to another man. My master is of churlish disposition, and little recks to find the way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flock, and bounds of feed are on sale and at his sheepcote now. By reason of his absence, there is nothing you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
Buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we will mend thy wages. I like this place, and willingly could waste my time in it.
Go with me, if you like, upon report, the soil, the profit, and this kind of life. I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, la-dee-dee-da, come hither, la-dee-dum-dee. Here shall be seen no enemy but winter and rough weather. Oh, whittle-o-whittle-um-see-yay, oh, whittle-o-whittle-um-see-yay, oh, whittle-o-whittle-um-see-yay, see-yally-um-see-yay. Girl is John and I am yours, girl is John and I am yours, girl is John and I am yours, see-yally-um-see-yay.
More, I prithee, more.
But will make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it. More, I prithee, more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee, more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I desire you to sing. Come, more, another stanza. Volume stanzas.
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
Nay, I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well, then, if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. Come, sing, and you that will not, hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Sir, cover the while. The Duke will feast under this tree.
He has been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of him. Come, warble, come!
Who doth a mission shun and love to live his son, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he gets. Come hear the duddly-dum, come hear the duddle-dum-dee. Here shall he see no enemy but winter and rough weather.
I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday in despite of my invention.
And I'll sing it.
Thus it goes. If it shall come to pass that any man turn ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please, Duke dumbly diddle-dee-dum, Duke Dame Diddle-Dee-Dee, here he shall see roast fools as he, and if you will come to me.
What's that, Duke Dame?
'Tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll go to sleep, if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll go seek the Duke because a banquet is prepared.
Master, I can go no further. I die for food. Here I lay down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
Why, how now, Adam? No greater heart in thee? Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I'll either be food for it or bring it for food to thee. Thy conceit is nearer death than thy powers. For my sake, be comfortable. Hold death a while at arm's end. I will here be with thee presently. And if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. And if thou diest before I come, thou art the marker of my labor. Well said, that looks chilly. I will be with thee quickly. Yet thou liest in the bleak air. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner, if there live anything in this desert. Cheerly, good Adam.
Hey-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum. Oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum. Hey-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum. Oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum. Oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum. Oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum. Oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum. Oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, tim-ta-diddle-day, diddle-diddle-dum. Oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum. Oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum, oh-dum, ta-diddle-dum.
I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can never find him like a man.
He is just but now gone hence. Here he was merry, hearing the song.
Go seek him. Tell him I would speak with him.
Saves my labor by his own approach.
Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that you're poor friends must rule your company. What? You look merrily.
A fool! A fool! I met a fool in the forest. Oh, a motley fool, a miserable world. As I do live by food, I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun and railed on Lady Fortune in good terms. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. Nay, sir, quoth he, call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with lackluster eyes, says very wisely, it is 10 o'clock. Thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after 1 hour more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe, and so from hour to hour we rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When I did hear the motley fool thus moral on time, my lungs began to crow like Chanticleer, and I did laugh, sans intermission, an hour by his dial. Oh, that I were a fool! I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
It is my only suit. Provided that you weed your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty withal, as large a charter as the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. And they that are most gulled with my folly, they most must laugh. Why, so must they so? He that a fool doth very wisely hit, doth very foolishly, although he's smart, not to seem senseless of the bob. If not, the wise man's folly is anatomized, even by the squandering glances of the fool. Invest me in my motley, give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body, the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Fie on thee. I could tell what thou wouldst do.
What, for a counter, would I do but good?
Most mischievous sin, for thou thyself hast been a libertine. Sensuous.
Forbid, eat no more! Why, I have ate none yet.
Nor shall not till necessity be, sir.
Of what kind should this cock come off?
Art thou thus bolden, man, by thy distress? Or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemst so empty?
You touched my vein at first. The thorny point of their distress hath ta'en from me the show of smooth civility. Forbear, I say! He dies that touches any of this fruit, till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost died for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on the countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, if ever you have looked on better days and know what 'tis to pity and be pitied, that gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take, upon command, what help we have, that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear for a little while. There's an old poor man, who after me hath many a weary step, limped in pure love, till he be first sufficed, oppressed with 2 weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch a bit.
And go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for thy good comfort.
Thou seest, we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theatre presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage. And all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then, the whining schoolboy with his satchel and his shining mourning face, creeping like a snail, unwillingly to school. And then, a lover, sighing like a furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. And then, a soldier, full of strange oaths, and bearded like a card, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. And then, a justice, in fair round belly, with good capon lined, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so he plays his part. The 6th stage shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side. His youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank. And his big manly voice leaning again toward childish treble pipes, and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all that ends this strange, eventful history, second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden and let him plead.
I thank thee most for him.
So had you need. I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome, all two. I shall not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousin, sing.
Blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, that winter wind, blow, 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 that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, that winter wind, blow. There are tunes in the river water, pools in the river water, pools in the river crossing. There are tunes in the river water, pools in the river water, pools in the river and the river crossing. Blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, that winter wind, blow, that winter wind. Dance to your shadow and it's good to be living life. Dance to your shadow and there's nothing better than. Dance to your shadow and it's good to be living life. Dance to your shadow and there's nothing better than. Blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, that winter wind, blow. There are tunes in the river water, pools in the river water, pools in the river and the river crossing. There are tunes in the river water, pools in the river water, pools in the river and the river crossing. Blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, that winter wind, blow, 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 that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, blow, that winter wind, blow, that winter wind, blow.
Not see him since? Sir, sir, that cannot be. Were I not the better part made mercy, I should not seek an absent argument of my revenge now present. But look to it. Find out thy brother wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle. Bring him, dead or living, within this 12 month, or turn thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy land, and all things that thou dost call thine, worth seizure, we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness be my hardness! I never loved my brother in my life!
More villain thou! Well, push him out of doors!
Hang there my verse, in witness of my love. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thought of character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
And how like you the shepherd life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. But in respect that it is solitary, I like it very well. But in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. In respect that it is in the fields, pleaseth me well. But in respect that it is not at court, it is very tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humor well. As there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. I say philosophy in thee, shepherd.
No more, but that I know the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is, and that he that wants money, means, and content is without three good friends, that the property of rain is to wet, and fire to burn, that good pasture makes fat sheep, and that a great cause of the night is lack of the sun. And he that has learnt no wit by nature, nor art, may complain of good breeding, or comes of a very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher.
Ah, you have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest. Oh, here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress' brother.
From the east to western inn, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through all the world there's Rosalind. All the pictures fairest line are but black to Rosaline. Let no face be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosaline.
I'll rhyme you so 8 years together. Dinners, suppers, and sleeping hours excluded. It is the right butter woman's right to market.
Out, fool!
For a taste. If a heart do lack a hind, sure will seek out Rosaline. If the cat will after kind, so we sure will Rosaline. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosaline. They that reap must sheep and bind, then off to cart with Rosaline. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosaline. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick and Rosaline. This is a very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool! I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
I shall graph it with you, and then I will graph it with a meddler.
So you have said, but whether wisely or not, let the forest judge.
Peace, here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this desert be? For it is unpeopled. No, tongues I'll hang on every tree, that so civil sayings show. Some have brief the life of man, runs his errand pilgrimage, that the stretching of a span buckles in his sum of age, some of violated vows, twixt the souls of friend and friend. But upon the fairest vows, or at every sentence end, will I, Rosalinda, write, teaching all that read to know the quintessence of every sprite. Heaven would in little show, therefore heaven nature charged, that one body should be filled with all graces wide enlarged. Nature presently distilled Helen's cheek, but not her heart. Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part. Sad Lucretia's modesty. Thus Rosalind of many parts, by heavenly synod was devised, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touch his dearest prize. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave.
Oh, most gentle Jupiter! What tedious homily of love have you wearied your parishioners withal, and never cried, have patience, good people?
How now, fat friends? Shepherd, go off a little, go with him, sirrah.
Come, shepherd, we shall make our retreat, though not with bag and baggage, yet with scrip and scrippage.
Did you hear these verses?
Oh yes, I heard them all, and more too, for look here what I found on a palm tree.
True, you who have done this.
Is it a man?
And a chain you once wore about his neck changing colour?
I prithee who?
Oh, Lord, Lord! It is a hard matter for friends to meet, and mountains may be removed by earthquakes and serry counter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now, with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that, all out of whooping!
Good my complexion. Dost not think, though I am comparisoned like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? 1 inch of delay more is a fallacy of discovery. I prithee, tell me who is it quickly, and speak apace. I would thou couldst pour this concealed man out of thy mouth as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle, either too much at once or none at all. I prithee take the cork out of thy mouth that I may drink the tidings.
So you may put the man in your belly?
Oh! Is he of God's making? What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Let me stay the growth of his beard if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the restless heels and your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speaks that brow and true, maid?
In faith, cuz, 'tis he.
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas, the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? Did he ask for me? What makes he here? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me gargantuous mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth of this age and size. To say aye and no to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But doth he know that I am in the forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled.
It is as easy to count atomists to resolve the propositions of a lover. But take a taste of my finding, and relish it with good observance. I found him under a tree like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam!
Proceed.
There he lay, stretched along, like a wounded knight.
Though it be pity to see such a sight, it well becomes the ground.
Cry on to thy tongue, I prithee, it covets unseasonably. He was furnished like
Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart!
I would sing my song without a burden, but thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. So, comes he not here?
'Tis 'tis he. Slink by and note him.
All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosaline. For earthly mounted on the wind, through all the world bears Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosaline. I thank you for your company, but good faith I had as lief have been myself alone.
And so had I. But yet, for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God by you, let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, mar no more trees with writing love songs on their barks.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes.
Line?
Yes.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Come, will you sit down with me, and we two will rail against our mistress the world and all our misery.
I will chide no breather in this world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtues. I am weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you. I'll tarry no longer with you. Goodbye, Signor Love.
I am glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester?
Very well, what would you?
I pray you, what is o'clock?
You should ask what time of day. There is no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest. Else sighing every moment, groaning every hour, could detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you can purchase, and so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so of many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak. He was in his youth an inland man, one who knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman, to be taxed with so many giddy offences as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all like one another, as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous till his fellow fault came to match it.
I pray thee, recount some of them.
No, I will not cast my physic but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carving. Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns, elegies on brambles, all forsooth defying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I'd give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped. I pray thee, tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you're not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye, and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not, but I'll pardon you for that, for simply your having in beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Hey, youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Huh, me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is apter to do than to confess she does. That is one of the points in the which women still give the lie to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and so cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Have you ever cured any so?
Yes. One, and in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me. At which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing, liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything. As boys and women are, for the most part, cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world, and to live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And in this way will I take it upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there will not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind, and come every day to my cote and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must but call me Rosalind. Will you go, sister?
Jump, Do, I prithee, yet have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
Have I not cause to weep?
As much cause as one would desire. Therefore weep.
Oh, his very hair is of the dissembling color.
Something browner than Judas's. Marry his kisses are Judas's own children.
In faith, his hair is of good color.
An excellent colour, your hair was ever the only colour.
And his kissing is as full of sanctity as the touch of holy breath.
A nun of Winter's sisterhood kisses not more religiously. The very ice of chastity is within her.
Oh, and why did he swear he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, certainly there is no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think he is not a pick-purse, nor a horse-stealer, but for his verity and love, I do find him as concave as a wooden goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love.
Yes, when he is it, but I think he is not it.
But you have heard him swear downright he was.
Was, if not is.
Oh.
He attends here, in the forest, on the Duke your father.
He met the Duke yesterday, and had much question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was, and I laughed and told him of as good as he. So he smiled and let me go. But what talk we of fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely. Who comes here?
Sweet baby. Do not scorn me, Phoebe, do not. Say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon. Would you sterner be than he that dies and lives by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellst me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty sure, and very probable, that eyes, that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on atomies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers! Now I do frown on thee with all my heart. And if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee! Thou counterfeit to swoon. Why now fall down? And if thou canst not, oh, for shame, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now show the wound mine eye hath made in thee. Scratch thee, but with a pin there remains some scar of it. Lean upon a rush, the cicatrice of capable impressure thy palms some moment keeps. But now mine eyes, which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not, nor I am sure there is no force in eyes that can be hurt.
Oh, dear Phoebe! If ever, as it ever may be near, you meet in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me, and when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks, pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you, who might be your mother, that you insult, exalt, and all at once over the wretched? What, though you have no beauty? As by my faith, I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed. Must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why? What means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than in the ordinary of nature's sale work. Odds my little life, I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress. Hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can attain my spirits to your worship. You foolish shepherd! Wherefore do you follow her like foggy south, puffing with the wind and rain? You are 1,000 times a proper man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that makes this world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis 'tis not her glass, but you that flatters her. And out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees and thank heaven fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you frankly, in your ear. Sell when you can! You are not for all markets. Try the man mercy. Love him. Take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer. Take her to the shepherd. Fare you well.
I pray you chide a year together. I'd rather hear you chide than this man move.
He's fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. If it be so, as fast as she answers thee with frowning looks, I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. If you will but know my house, 'tis at the tuft of olives here hard by. Will you go, sister? Shepherd, ply her hard. Come, sister. Shepherdess, look on him better, and be not proud. Though all the world could see, none could be so abused in sight as he. Come to our flock.
Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe!
What say so, gentle Sylvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me!
I am sorry for the gentle Sylvius.
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. You do sorrow in my grief and love. By giving love, your sorrow and my grief were both exterminated.
Oh, ask my love. It's not that neighborly.
I would have you.
I thought for covetousness. Sylvius, the time was that I hated thee. And yet, it is not that I bear thee love, but that thou canst talk so well of love. Thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I shall endure, and I'll employ thee too. But do not ask for further recompense than thine own gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace, that I shall think it most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man that the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Knowst thou the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I have met him oft. He hath bought the cottage and the bounds that the old harlot once was master of.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. This has been a peevish youth. But he talks well. What care I for words? Yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. He's a pretty youth. Not very pretty. Sure he's proud. And yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion. And sooner than his tongue did make offense, his eye did heal it up. He's not very tall. For his years he's tall. His legs, but so-so. And yet 'tis well. There was a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red. It was just the difference betwixt the constant and some women, Sylvius, had they marked him in persons as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet, what more cause to hate him than to love him? For what had he to do to chide at me? He said my eyes were black, and my hair black, and now I remembered scorned at me. I marvel that I answered not again. But that's all one. Omissions is no quittance. I'll write to him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Sylvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. It matters in my head, in my heart. I'll be bitter with him, and passing short. Go with me, Sylvius.
Dum ta-diddle-dum tim ta-diddle-day-diddle-diddle-dum. Oh-dum ta-diddle-dum tim ta-diddle-day-diddle-diddle-dum.
Ta-diddle-das, ta-diddle-dum.
Oh-dum ta-diddle-dum.
Ta-diddle-dum.
Oh-dum ta-diddle-dum.
Ta-diddle-dum.
Oh-dum ta-diddle-dum.
Ta-diddle-dum.
Oh-dum ta-diddle-dum.
Ta-diddle-dum.
I pray thee, pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am so. I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of either are abominable fellows and betray themselves to every modern censure, worse than drunkards.
Why, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why, 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the courtier's, which is proud, nor the soldier's, which is ambitious, nor the lawyer's, which is politic, nor the lady's, which is nice, nor the lover's, which is all of these. But it is a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
A traveler, by my faith you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your own lands to see other men's. And to have seen much and to have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad. I had rather a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travel for it too.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Nay, God buy you then, and you talk in blank verse.
Farewell, Monsieur Traveler. Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You a lover, and you served me such another trick. Never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love? He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts, and break but a part of the 1,000 parts of a minute in the affairs of love, it may be said of him that Cupid half claps him on the shoulder. But I'll warrant him hard home.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you be so tardy. Come no more in my sight. I had as lief be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head. A better jointure, I think, than you make a woman. But come, woo me, for now I'm in a holiday humor and like enough to consent. What would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you'd better speak first. And when you are gravelled for lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they will spit. And for lovers lacking, God warn us, matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
Who could be out being before his beloved mistress?
Am I not your Rosalind?
It pleases him to call you so, but he hath a Rosalind of a much finer leer than you.
I take some joy to say you are, because of the talking of her.
Well, in her person I say, I will not have you.
Then, in mine own person, I die.
The poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and not in all that time was there any man died in a love cause. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right, Rosalind, of this mind. I protest a frown might kill me.
By this hand it will not kill a fly. But come, now I will be your Rosalind in a more coming on disposition. Ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, dear Rosalind.
Its faithful eye, frown Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
I and 20 such!
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why then can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you shall be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin, will you, Orlando?
Don't you? Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Why, now, as fast as she can marry us.
Then you must say, I, Orlando, take thee, Rosalind, for my wife.
I, Orlando, take thee,
Rosalind.
for wife.
I might ask you for your commission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. Now, tell me, how long would you have her after you have possessed her?
Forever and a day.
Say a day without the ever. No, Orlando, men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his head, more clamorous than a parrot against rain, more newfangled than an ape, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing, like Diana in the fountain. And I will do that when thou art disposed to be merry. I will laugh like a hind, and not when thou art inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
By my life she will do as I do.
But she is wise.
Or else she could not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. Make the doors upon a woman's wit. 'Twill out of the casement. Shut that. 'Twill out of the keyhole. Stop that. 'Twill fly with the smoke out of the chimney.
A man that had a wife with such a wit, he might say, wit, whitherwilt.
Nay, you might keep that check for it till you met your wife's wit going to your neighbor's bed.
And what wit could wit have to excuse that?
Mary, to say she came to seek you there. You shall never take her without her answer, unless you take her without her tongue. That woman that cannot make her own fault her husband's occasion, let her never nurse her child herself, for she will breed it like a fool.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I'll leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner. By 2 o'clock I'll be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways, go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends told me as much, and I thought no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me. 2 o'clock is your hour.
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
By my troth, and in good earnest, and so God mend me, and by all pretty oaths that are not dangerous, if you break one jot of your promise, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical, and the most break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her that you call Rosalind, that may be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore beware my censure, and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosalind. So a Jew?
Well, time is the old justice that examines all such offenders, and let time try. Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love place. We must have your doublet hose plucked over your head and show the world what the bird has done to her own nest.
Oh, cuz, my pretty little cuz, that thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love. But it cannot be sounded. My affection hath an unknown bottom, like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather bottomless, that as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
No, that same wicked bastard of Venus, that blind rascally boy that abuses everyone's eyes because his own are out, let him be the judge how deep I am in love. I'll tell thee, Aliena, I cannot be out of sight of Orlando. I'll go find a chateau and sigh till he come.
And I'll sleep.
Come, up haste, good Audrey. I will fetch up your goats, Audrey. And how now, Audrey? Am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your features? Lord warned us what features.
When a man's verses can't be understood, nor his good wit seconded with the forward child understanding, strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Would the gods had they made thee poetical?
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest in deed and word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is the most feigning. And lovers are given to poetry. And what they swear in poetry may be said as lovers they do feign.
Do you wish the gods had made me poetical?
I do truly. For thou swearest that thou art honest. But if thou wert poetical, I might have some hope that thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou were hard favored. For to have honesty coupled with beauty is to have honey a sauce to sugar.
A material fool.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Truly, for to cast away honesty upon a foul slut were to put good meat in an unclean dish.
I am not a slut! I thank the gods I am foul.
Well, praise be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. But be that as it may, I will marry thee. And to that end I have been to see Sir Oliver Martex, the vicar of the next village, who has agreed to meet me in the forest at this place and to couple us.
Oh, the gods give us joy!
Amen.
I would fain see this meeting.
Here he comes. Sir Oliver, you are very well met. Will you dispatch us under this tree here, or shall we go back with you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take her a gift of any man.
Truly, she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed, proceed. I'll give her.
Good evening, good master. What do you call it? Yeah, you are very well met. I am very glad to see you. Give me a toy in hand here, sir.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath its bow, the horse its curb, the falcon rebels, so a man hath his desires.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to church, and have a good priest can tell you what marriage is. This fellow will but join you as they join wainscot, and then one of you will prove a shrunk panel, and like green timber, warp, warp!
I'm not of the mind, but it were better to be married of him than another, for he is not like to marry me well. And not being well married, it would be a good excuse hereafter to leave my wife.
Go thou with me, and let me counsel thee.
Come, Audrey, we shall be married, or we shall live in Bawdry. Goodbye, Sir Oliver. Not, oh, brave Oliver, oh, sweet Oliver, leave me not behind thee. What? Wind away, be gone, I say. I will not do wedding with thee.
'Tis no matter. Ne'er fantastical knave of them all shall flout me out of my calling.
How say you now? Is it not past 2 o'clock, and here much Orlando?
I warrant you, with pure love and troubled brain, he hath taken his bow and arrow and is gone forth to sleep.
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe did bid me give you this. I know not the content, but as I guessed by the stern brow and waspish action that she did take as she was writing of it, It bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but as a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, and that she could not love me were a man as rare as Phoenix. Odds my will, her love is not the hair that I do hunt. Why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
Oh, I protest. He did write it.
I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention, and his hand.
Sure, it is hers.
Women's gentle brain could not drop forth such giant, rude invention. Such Ethiop words blacker in their effect than in their countenance. Will you hear the letter?
So please you. I haven't heard it yet. I've heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mark how the tyrant writes. Art thou God to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus?
Call you this railing?
Why thy Godhead played a part, worst thou with a woman's heart. Did you ever hear such railing? Whiles the eye of man did woo me, that could do no vengeance to me, meaning me, a beast. If the scorn of your bright eye had power to raise such love in mine, alack in me what strange effect would they work in my old aspect. Whiles you chid me, I did love. How then might your prayers move? Oh, he that brings this love to thee, little knows this love in me. And by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful love partake of me, and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? What, to make thee an instrument, and play false strains upon thee, not to be endured? Well, go your way to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake. And say this to her, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee, and if she will not, then I will never have her. You be a true lover, hence, and not a word, for here comes more company.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know where in the prose of this forest stands a sheepcote fenced about with olive trees.
West of this place, down in the neighborhood bottom, the Racabosians by the murmuring stream, left on your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself, there is none within.
That an eye may profit by a tongue, then should I know thee by description, such garments and such years. The boy is dark, of female favor, and bestows himself like a ripe sister. The woman, low and fairer than her brother. Are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast, being asked, to say, we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to that youth he calls his Rosalind he sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What must we understand of this?
Some of my shame, if you will know of me what man I am, and how and why and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again within an hour. And pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo it befell. He threw his eye aside and marked what object it presented itself. Under an old oak, whose boughs were mossed with age, and high top bald with dry antiquity, a wretched, ragged man lay, overgrown with hair on his back. About his neck a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, who with her head, nimble in threats, approached the opening of his mouth. But suddenly, seeing Orlando, it slipped away unto a bush, under which bush a lioness, with udders all drawn dry, lay couching, with head on ground, with cat-like watch for that the sleeping man should stir. For 'tis the royal disposition of that beast to prey upon nothing that doth seem as dead. This seen Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
I have heard him speak of that same man, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
And well he might so do, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back in purpose so, but kindness nobler ever than revenge, and nature stronger than his just occasion made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which hurtling from miserable slumber I awakened.
Oh,
Are you his brother?
was you he rescued?
Was you that did so often try to kill him?
'Twas I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin.
By and by, in brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who led me instantly into his cave, there stripped himself, and here upon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled, and now he fainted, and called him fainting upon his Rosalind.
Oh!
Brief! I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story that you might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin dyed in his blood unto that youth that he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Oh.
Oh, now, Ganymede, sweet Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There is more in it, cousin! Ganymede!
Look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
We'll lead you thither. I pray, good sir, will you take him by the arm?
He could cheer you. You a man, you lack a man's heart.
I do so. I confess it. Ah, sirrah! But he would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you, commend to your brother how well I counterfeited. Hey-ho.
This was not counterfeit. There's too strong testimony in your complexion that it was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Come, you look paler and paler. We pray you draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
That shall I, for I must bear answer back how you excuse my brother, Rosalind.
I shall devise something. But I pray you, commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go, sister?
You will find it time, good Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey.
Faith, the priest was good enough in spite of all the old gentlemen saying.
No, a wicked Sir Oliver, a most vile marred text. But, Audrey, there's a youth in the forest here who lays claim to you.
I know who it is. He hath no claim on me in the world. This be the man you mean.
It's meat and drink for me to see a clown. By my troth, we that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting. We cannot hold. Good evening, Audrey.
God ye good even, William.
And, good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, gentle friend. How old are you, friend?
25, sir.
Ripe age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
Fine name. Was born in the forest here?
Aye, sir. I thank God.
Thank God. A good answer. Art thou rich?
Faith, sir. So.
So's good. Very good. Very excellent. Good. And yet it is not. It's not so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir. I've got a pretty wit.
Thou sayest well. Do now remember a saying. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. The heathen philosopher, when he had a desire to eat a grape, would open his lips and place it in his mouth, thereby meaning that grapes are to eat and lips to open. You do love this maid.
I do, sir.
Give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. You clown, abandon, which in the vulgar is leave the society, which in the boorish is the company of this female, which in the common is woman. Meaning together, abandon the society of this female, or clown thou perishest, or to thy better understanding diest, or would I kill thee, send thee away, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will do with thee in poison, or bastinado, or in steel. I will bandy thee in faction, I will err on thee with policy, I will kill thee 150 ways, therefore tremble and depart.
Do good, William.
God rest thee merry, sir. My master and mistress call for thee. Come away, away.
Trip under trip, I attend, I attend.
Is it possible that I'm so little acquainted you should like her? That but sing you should love her, and loving woo, and wooing she shall grant. Will you preserve it to enjoy her, and will
Neither call the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing nor sudden consenting. But say with me, I love Aliena! Say with her that she loves me. Consent with both that we may enjoy each other. It shall be to your good, for my father's house and all the revenue that was old Sir Roland's will I estate upon you, and here live and die a shepherd.
you have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Thither will I invite the Duke and all his contented followers. Go you and prepare Aliena. For look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Why, how now, Orlando? How it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scar.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when you showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true. There was never anything so sudden but Caesar's thrasonical brag of I came, saw, and overcame. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together.
They will be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke to the nuptials. But oh, how bitter a thing it is to look into happiness through another man's eyes. By so much the more tomorrow shall I be at the height of heart heaviness, and how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then tomorrow can I not serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you then no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose, that I know you are a gentleman of good conspeak. I speak not this that you should bear a greater opinion of my knowledge, in so much I say I know you are. Neither do I labor for a greater esteem that may, in some little measure, draw a belief from you to do yourself good and not to grace me. Believe then, if you will, that I can do strange things. I have, since I was 3 years old, conversed with a magician. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her? It is not impossible to me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow, human as she is and without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meaning?
By my life I do. Oh! Therefore, bid your friends put you in your best array, for if you will be married tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind, if you will. Look, here comes a lover of mine.
done me much ungentleness to show the legend I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem too spiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look on him, love him. He worships you.
Good shepherd, tell the sheep what 'tis to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of faith and service. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, all made of wishes, all adoration, duty, and observance, all humility, all patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, all obedience, and so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
What do you speak to? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not hear.
Oh, I pray you no more of this. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow meet me all together. I will marry you if ever I married a woman. And I shall be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if ever I satisfied man. And you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. I have left you commands. Fare you well.
I will not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Tomorrow is the joyful day, Audrey. Tomorrow we will be married.
Oh, and I desire with all my heart. That is, if it's no dishonest desire to be a woman of the world. There be two of the banished Duke's lords.
Well met, honest gentlemen.
By my troth, well met. Sit, sit. And a song. We are for you. Sit in the middle.
It was a lover and his lass, with a hey-a-ho, hey-no-ni-no.
And o'er the green cornfields did pass in the springtime, when the birds do sing, a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
And therefore take the present time, with a hey-a-ho, a hey-no-ni-no.
For love is crowned in the prime in the springtime, when the birds do sing, a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
It was a lover and his lass, with a hey-a-ho, a hey-no-ni-no.
That o'er the green cornfields did pass in the springtime, when the birds do sing, a-ding-a-ding-a-ding. Sweet lovers love the spring.
Truly, gentlemen, though there was no great matter in the ditty, yet the note was very untuning. tunable.
You are deceived, sir. We kept our time. We lost not our time.
By my troth, no, gentlemen, for I count it as time wasted to have heard such a silly song. God buy you, gentlemen, and God mend your voices.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, the boy can do all that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not, as those they fear they hope and know they fear.
Patience once more whilst our compact is urged. You say if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando here?
That would I. The kingdoms to give with her.
And you say you'll have her when I bring her?
That would I, were I of all kingdoms king.
You say you'll marry me if I be willing?
That I will, if I die the hour after.
But if you do refuse to marry me, you'll give yourself to this most faithful shepherd.
So's the bargain.
And you say you'll have her if she will?
But to have her and death were both one thing.
I have promised to make all this matter even. Keep you your word, O Duke, to give your daughter. You yours, Orlando, to receive his daughter. Keep you your word, Phoebe, that you'll marry me, or else refusing me to wed this shepherd. Keep your word, Silvius, that you'll marry her if she refuse me. And from hence I go to make all these doubts even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favour.
My lord, the first time that I ever saw him, methought he was a brother to your daughter. But, good my lord, this boy is forest-born, and hath been tutored in the rudiments of many desperate studies by his uncle, whom he reports to be a great magician, obscured in the circle of this forest.
There is sure another flood toward, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here comes a pair of very strange beasts, which in all tongues are called fools.
Salutation and greetings to you all.
Good my lord, bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I have so often met in the forest. He hath been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have flattered a lady. I've been politic with my friend, with mine enemy. I've undone 3 tailors, have had 4 quarrels, and like to have fought 1.
And how was that ta'en up?
Faith, we met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How 7th cause? Good my lord, like this fellow.
I like him very well.
God yield you, sir, I desire you of the like. I press him here, sir, amongst the rest of the country copulatives, to swear and forswear, as marriage binds and blood breaks. A poor virgin, sir, an ill-favored thing, but mine own. 'Tis a poor humor of mine, sir, to take that no man else will. Rich honesty dwells like a miser in a poorhouse, like your pearl in your foul oyster.
By my faith, he is very swift and sententious.
But for the 7th cause, how did you find the quarrel on the 7th cause?
Upon a lie, 7 times removed. Bear your body more seeming, Andre. As thus, sir, I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. He sent word, if I was of the mind that it was not well cut, he was of the mind that it was. This is called the retort courteous. Again I sent word. He said if I was still of the mind that it was not well cut, he would say that he cut it to please himself. This is called the quip modest. If again it was not well cut, he would disable my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not well cut, he would say, I spake not true. This is called the reproof valiant. If again it was not well cut, he would say, I lie. This is called the countercheck quarrelsome. Then to the lie circumstantial and the lie direct.
And how oft did you say his beard was not well cut?
I durst go no further than the lie circumstantial. He durst not give me the lie direct. So we measured swords and parted.
Can you nominate, in order now, the degrees of the lie?
The first, the retort courteous. The second, the quip modest. The third, the reply churlish. The fourth, the proof valiant. The fifth, the countercheck quarrelsome. The sixth, the lie circumstantial. And the seventh, the lie direct.
Fellow, my lord, he's as good at anything, and yet a fool.
He uses his folly like a stalking horse, and under the presentation of that, he shoots his wit.
Then is there mirth in heaven? Then is there mirth in heaven? When earthly things made even, when earthly things atone together. Then is there mirth in heaven? Then is there mirth in heaven? When earthly things atone together. To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then my love adieu.
I'll have no father, if you be not he. I'll have no husband, if you be not he. Nor ne'er wed woman, if you be not she.
I bring these tidings to this fair assembly. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power, which were on foot in his own conduct, purposely to lead his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted, both from his enterprise and from the world, his crown bequeathing to his banished brother, and all their lands restored again to them who were with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
In this forest, let us do these ends, that here were well begun and well begot, and after every of this happy number, that have endured shrewd days and nights with us, shall enjoy the good of our returned fortune.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court.
He had.
To him will I. Out of these convertites there is much matter to be heard and learned. You, to your former honor I bequeath. Your patience and your virtue well deserves it. You, to a love that your true faith doth merit. You to your lands and love and great allies. You to a long and well-deserved bed. And you to wrangling, for thy loving voyage is but for 2 months victualled. And so to your pleasures, I am for other than for dancing measures.
Stay, Jaques, stay.
To see no pastime, I.
Proceed, proceed. We will begin these rites. As we do trust, they'll end in true delights.
It is not the fashion to see the lady, the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord, the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis also true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet to good wine they do use good bush, and good plays do prove the better with the help of good epilogues. What a case am I in, that I am neither a good epilogue, nor can insinuate with you on the behalf of a good play. And I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg would not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to man, to like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simperings that none of you hates them. That between you and the women, the play may please. If I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breasts that I defied not. And I am sure that as many of you as had good beards, or good faces, or sweet breaths, will for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.
Oh,
Tiddle-hum, tiddle-hum.